welcome to this week's edition of Nordic Market News. It is Friday the 9th of March and we are recording this at the studio of news agency Direkt on behalf of Infront Finance. Let's take a look at how the markets look at the end of this week. Copenhagen, Oslo and the OMXN 40 marginally increased at 0.1 to 0.4%, with Helsinki and Stockholm at 1 and 1.5% respectively. Year-to-date figures are all hovering around the 0% mark, with the exception of Copenhagen at minus 2.5% and Helsinki at plus 5%. The big news last week was the speculation of a trade war, and this week the worry has turned into a reality as the EU responded to the US by announcing tariffs of their own. Many stocks on the Nordic markets have had the free trade environment to thank for much of their success, and this politically unsteady climate puts pressure on the region. Let's take a look at how the week went. The week started off on a positive note despite the inconclusive results of the Italian election from the day before. Among the winners on Monday were Norwegian Petroleum Geoservices, whose stock closed almost 7% higher. Finnish mobile phone maker Rovio, the creator of Angry Birds, fell by 8% after being downgraded by Deutsche Bank. On Tuesday, the OBX once again claimed attention, gaining 2%, fueled by a sharp price increase in oil. Giants such as Statoil with a 2.9% increase and DNO with a 2.7% increase rise led the rally. The airline Norwegian was finally among the winners as it rose 3.5% after publishing traffic figures which apparently beat the market's expectations. On Wednesday, we saw further losses in the steel-related industries as worries of a trade war increased. Swedish Volvo and Atlas Copco were among the losers. On the other end of the spectrum, Swedish SSAB gained around 5% on the news since the steelmaker largely operates from within the US and could therefore benefit from the steel tariffs. Deutsche Bank and Bank of America Merrill Lynch published a relatively positive outlook for the banking sector, which sent banks flying upwards in the Nordic region. Some of the gains could also be explained by safe haven effect as investors seek to reduce risks from a trade war. Norwegian salmon companies enjoyed an increase also on Wednesday as analysts of both ABG Sundal Collier and Carnegie published positive outlooks on the price of salmon. An analyst of ABG Sundal Collier said, "We have seen declining volumes of salmon as of late and demand is expected to rise come Easter." On Thursday, all of the large Nordic indices were on the rise as the market's focus was on the ECB, who expectedly decided to keep rates unchanged and keep its assets purchasing program running for at least 6 months. One of the top performers on the Swedish OMXS 30 was medtech company Getinge. Officials said, "We have not released any new information, despite their unexpected surge of more than 6%. The Danish company Scandinavian Tobacco Group plunged more than 7% after releasing their quarterly report on Thursday. Altogether, the result was weaker than expected, but most of all, their forward guidance for 2018 was disappointing, said an analyst from ABG. So far on Friday, focus has been on the smaller traded companies. Among these, Swedish Gap Waves rocketed more than 20% in early trade after having completed their equity issue, receiving more than 150 million Swedish crowns. Another small Swedish company, GomSpace, was not as successful in their equity issue and saw the stock price fall in response. That's it for this week's edition of Nordic Market News. See you next Friday.